Okay, we're here at gotomath.com. Let's click over here on the algebra section and go down to fractions, and we'll start off with something fairly easy there. And I guess we need to click on the marker board. Let's get that clicked on there. Anyway, so we're looking at 97 over 63, reduce fraction to lowest terms, Alright, let's actually click that again and again. And okay, so the reason I added fractions to algebra is sometimes we kind of forget how to do simple fractions. Anyway, so what we're looking at here is 58 over 22. So if we wanted to reduce this down, the first thing I'm going to probably do is let's take a number like 2. For example, I know 2 goes into 22 11 times. That's kind of easy to see right off the start. And then 2 goes into 58 29 times. So it looks like that's probably going to be as reduced as we're going to possibly get. 29 over 11. Let's check out and see how that works out here. See what we got on that. Correct. Alright, so everything works out. Okay. So anyway, just kind of a quick refresher here on fractions, and of course you can just click on the problem if you want to change it. Alright, so we're here at gotomath.com. You want to come check that out, and see you later. Bye. Alright, we're here at gotomath.com. Let's click over here on the algebra section and go down to fractions. So this is just kind of a refresher of some of the operations when dealing with fractions. Alright, some notation and so forth. So we have 29 and the division symbol here 48. And it asks for us to reduce fractions. Right up here it says reduce fractions to lowest terms. Now 29 is a prime number, so this is not going to break down. However, we need to write this or rewrite it actually. So this can actually be written as 29 over 48. And of course, in mathematics and algebra, this is basically how we're going to be writing things, not like this. Okay, so we always want to reduce our answer to simplest terms, and this one here does not reduce 29 over 48. So we could actually come up here to the green check box, see how that works out, and it says correct. So in other words, it's right, we put the one in reduced terms in the checkbox here. Okay. All right, what about 3/4? All right, this can be written as 3 over 4. Obviously, that doesn't reduce down. Okay, this one here is obviously going to reduce down because 5 goes into 15 and 5 goes into 65. So let's just go ahead and write this one up here. So 65 divided by 15. Right, we can rewrite this as 65 over 15. Now, usually what you want to do is break these down into their prime factorization. So, for example, 5 goes into 15. This is pretty easy right here. You can break that all the way down to 3 times 5. But what about 65? Maybe you don't know that right off the top of your head. And we want to, now we're going to click the green box to use it as a calculator. So 13, so 5 times 13, right, 5 times 13, okay. So we can see here that, we'll use purple, that the 5s can cancel out, and so now we're left with 13 over 3. and you can't reduce it down any further than that. 13 over 3, let's check that, and that's correct. Okay, so come on by GoToMath.com, check that out, practice. We've got a ton of all kinds of stuff here so that you can brush up on your fractions. That's a mixed number there. Alright, come on by, see you later. So we're here at GoToMath.com, looking at the algebra section. Click on fractions. We're kind of reviewing over some simple fractions here. Let's bring up the marker board because we're going to need to do a little writing. It says multiply and reduce to lowest terms. So all these fractions, it'll be reduced to lowest terms. Now this operator here, the dot, it's not really the dot operator, but it's multiplication. Okay, so that's 2 times 5 over 10. So we want to reduce this thing down. Now let's just go ahead and rewrite it. So 2 times 5 over 10, I guess I'm going to use black. Alright, now I'm going to write it also like this. 2 over 1 times 5 over 10, just to show you that you can actually do this. Okay, so 2 over 1 is the same thing as saying 2. And so what we're going to do is multiply the numerators together and then multiply the denominators together. All right. But really, before we even do that, we can actually reduce this thing down quite a bit. And let's just do that. So I'm going to rewrite this 2 over 1 right here. 5 goes into 5 one time, and 5 goes into 10 2 times. See that? So then we can also, let's use something here, we can cross those guys out, all right, and so now we're left with 1. Isn't that funny? We're left with 1. So the answer to this guy reduces down to 1. Let's check it out. Correct. All right, reduces down to 1. Okay, pretty simple. And of course you can just click on the problem to get it to change. Wow, so that looks like 11 there, because those 7s cancel out, right? Okay, this is kind of fun. Okay, this one here doesn't look like it's going to actually simplify down any. You're going to have 5 times 7, which is 35, and 35 over 12. Let's check that out. 35 over 12. Correct. Okay. Alright, well, come on by GoToMath.com, check it out, and I'll see you later. Okay, we're here at GoToMath.com. Let's click on the algebra, go down to fractions, and I believe this is where we are here. Okay, so it says, now check means for the check box, but it also means, you know, this is what we need to do over here, which we got to write the answer. See with that / right there? We got to write the answer like it is in the box. All right, that form right there. Multiply and reduce to lowest terms. I'm not sure I needed to say all that stuff, but anyway, I did. Let's bring up the marker board and come down here and scribble some stuff out. How about we use that color? So we have 8 over 4 times 13 over 4. We'll just rewrite that part right here. And actually, let's come down a little further. So eight over 4 times 13 over 4. So we want to always reduce our fractions down before we actually multiply if we can, okay? And as you can see here, this can reduce down right here, right? So in other words, 4 goes into 4 itself and 4 goes into 8 twice. So we'll just rewrite that as that, right? 4 goes into 4 one time, 4 goes into 8 2 times. This won't reduce down any. What we can do now is is 2 goes into 2 one time and 2 goes into 4 2 times. All right. So let's go ahead now and rewrite again. 13 over 2. And 1 over 1 is 1, so we just end up with 13 over 2 is the final. Okay, so that would be reduced all the way down. 13 over 2. Correct. Now, you can always go up here. I don't know if I stated that or not. Hit the answer. Okay. And see the answer. All right. Okay, so we're over here at GoToMath.com, refreshing up on our fractions, or maybe we're learning them for the first time. Who knows? So come on by, check that out, and see you later. All right, we're over here at GoToMath.com. Let's click the algebra, go to fractions, and I believe we're down here at 3.1. 3.1, let's click on that. Okay. All right, divide, reduce to lowest terms is what it's asking. Click on the marker board. All right. So this says 5 divided by 1 over 7. 5 divided by 1 over 7. 5 divided by 1 over 7. All right. So this can actually be rewritten as 5 divided by 1/7. 5 divided by 1/7. Okay. Now, the way this is going to work here is, of course, sometimes we go from here. Actually, well, we don't go to here, but it's something close. When we do this right here, what we're going to need to do is rewrite this. Okay, is 5 times, and you flip this fraction right here, so this becomes 7 over 1, becomes 7 over 1, and now we can go ahead and multiply and then reduce down if we have to, right? Okay, so you just flip this and then put a dot here for multiplication. Well, it looks like the only way this is going to work out here is we're going to multiply 5 times 7, which is 35. And of course, 35 over 1 is just 35, So it looks like that this thing reduces down to 35. And we can click on the answer. You can type that in there. Click on the answer however you want to do that. And that's what we get. So we're over here at GoToMath.com. You want to check that out, and I'll see you later. Okay, we're here at GoToMath.com. Click on the algebra, and let's go down to fractions. And I believe we are doing 3-2. Okay. So it says divide and reduce to lowest terms. Let's click on the marker board so we got something to write on. So we have 9 over 1/6. Now there's kind of a space right here, and I do that just to kind of show you the difference here. If this is kind of scooted up real close, it looks like 9 over 1 and then that over 6. So that's the reason there's a space here. Alright, so we'll rewrite this. I guess I could actually write it like that now that I think about it. Okay, so what we're going to want to do here is rewrite this as 9 times 6 over 1. So this fraction here gets flipped. We put a multiplication, and then we go ahead and simplify this. So you should now know how to do 9 times 6 over 1. So you're just multiplying the numerators here, right? 6 times 9 is 54. So that just reduces down to 54. Let's type in, check it out, correct, right? And of course you could always go up to the top and click the answer. All right. So let's just look at this. What do you think this one is? Well, if you took the 1/8 over here, flipped it, 8 over 1, so that becomes what? 72. Correct. All right. So you want to come on by, go to Mathcom, check that out, and I'll see you later. All right, we're here. Go to Math.com, click on the algebra. Let's go down to fractions and look at 4.1. Bring up the marker board. Got something to write on. So we have 8 divided by 7 over 18. 8 divided by 7 over 18. And of course, this can be rewritten as 8 over 7 over 18. And what we'll want to do here is rewrite this multiplication. So we go from this division to multiplication. We want to make sure we flip the fraction. Make sure we flip that fraction right there. All right. Okay, and so where we're at now is you just go ahead and multiply the numerators, or actually consider a 1 down here. Multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. Question is, what is 8 times 18? Well, we know that 8 times 10 is 80, then 8 times 8 is 64, and so then we have 8 plus 80 plus 64, and of course we all know what that is, right? Well, anyway, maybe not, but I'm getting 144 over 7. Now of course we want to reduce this down before we actually multiply, but it doesn't look like a number goes into 8 and into 7 also, right? And 18 of 7, so it doesn't look like this can actually be reduced down any. So that's where we're at with that. Let's just click on the answer, and we get 144, as you can see over here, over there. Whoops. Anyway, 144 over 7. So come on by, go to Math.com, check that out, and I'll see you later. Okay, we're over here at go to Math.com. Let's click on the algebra, go down to fractions, and I believe we're doing 4.2. Let's click on that. All right, and bring up the marker board so we got something to write on. Right, so this kind of looks funky because there's a space right here, and that's just to differentiate that this is 3 over 11 over 15. If this were real close together, it would look like 3 over 11 and then that over 15. So that's the reason I've got a space there, okay? So let's just go ahead and rewrite this as like that right there. So remember, when you take this, you're going to bring it up, and we're going to flip it like such. All right. Now, will this reduce down any before we actually do the multiplication? And of course, the answer to that is no. The answer to that's no, right? And what do we got going on here? We got 3 times 15. So we want to multiply 3 times 15. And remember, think of it as a 1 down here below. And you multiply the numerators. When we do multiplication of fractions, we multiply the numerators and just multiply the denominators together. So 3 times 15 is 45. And of course, 1 times 11 is 11, and it doesn't look like that's going to obviously simplify down. Of course, we always want to do the simplification here if we can before we actually multiply. Okay, so let's see what happens when we type this into the box. See, 35, yeah, that's right. All right, sometimes I make small errors too. Anyway, so there you go, correct. We're over here at GoToMath.com. You want to check that out, and we got a ton of problems to practice from. All right. Okay, we're over here at GoToMath.com. Let's click on the algebra and go down to fractions. And I believe we're going to be doing 5.1. So let's click on that. Bring up the marker board. Divide and reduce to lowest term. So that's what it's asking. Alright, let's use a different color this time. What about that color? Or blue? Try blue. So we have 7/4 divided by 15. And of course, we're going to have to rewrite this, right? We'll have to rewrite this as 7/4 times and take the reciprocal of that, 1 over 15. Alright, 1 over 15. Okay. And now what you want to do is look at this thing. Can we actually simplify this down any before we actually start doing the multiplication? And there isn't a number that'll go into 7 plus into 15 other than 1. And that doesn't help us out any. So it sure doesn't look like it. So this looks like 7 over, and 415 is, what is that? What the heck have I lost my mind? 40 and then 20 is 50, 60, right? Yeah, obviously. Wow. Okay. So we'll just go up here and click on the answer there. 7 over 60. All right. So you're over here at GoToMath.com. Come on by, check that out. Got a ton of problems to practice from, and I'll see you later. Okay, we are over here at GoToMath.com. Let's click on the algebra. Go down to fractions, and I believe we're doing 5.2. Let's click on that right there. Okay, and click on the marker board while we're at it. Divide, reduce to lowest terms. So that looks like that's what we want to do. So we have 2/10. What color we're going to use? Light blue? I don't know. We got 2/10 over 2. Okay, 2/10 over 2. And we can actually rewrite this now as 2/10 times. Now we wouldn't write 2 here, but we write its reciprocal, which happens to be 1/2. Which happens to be 1/2. And of course we can actually reduce this down a little bit. Let's do something here. Use a different. So 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into this 2 obviously one time, right? So we'd multiply the numerators together, and so we end up with 1 over 10 times 1 is 10. Okay, so that reduces down to 1/10. We'll just hit the answer there. Go down. So it looks like everything's good on that. Okay. So come on by GoToMath.com. You want to check that out. We got a ton of problems to practice on, and I'll see you later. Okay, we're over here at GoToMath.com. Click on the algebra. Let's go down to fractions. And what are we doing? 5.3, I believe. There is no 5.3. 6.1. I don't know what I'm thinking. Let's go to the marker board. Divide, reduce to lowest terms. Okay. So let's just go ahead and rewrite this. I'm just in a colorful mood today. Let's see, we have 2 over 12 divided by 4 over 6. 4 over 6. So what we can do here is just rewrite this as 2 over 12 times. Now we want to flip this guy to 6 over 4. Now as I can see here, we can really reduce this thing down before we actually start multiplying this thing together. And it doesn't matter how you do this. You can reduce this down, then reduce this down. You can do some diagonal stuff, reducing down if you want, however you want to do it. But let's just look at this. I know that 2 goes into 2 one time and 2 goes into 12 6 times. We know that. And we know that, let's see, 2 is the largest number that will go into both of these guys. So 2 goes into 6 3 times and 2 goes into 4 2 times. Alright, so we're actually going to end up being left with 1 over 6 times 3 over 2. 3 over 2. Now look at here. We can still reduce this thing down. Alright. And that is 3 goes into 3 one time and 3 goes into 6 2 times. So it looks like we're going to be left with 1 times 1, which is 1, and 2 times 2, which is 4. Okay. Looks like it's going to reduce down to 4. And of course, I hit the answer button there, and it looks like 1/4, so everything looks good. Checks out. So come on by GoToMath.com, check that out, and I will see you later. Alright, we're over here at GoToMath.com. Let's click on the algebra, go down to fractions. And it looks like we are going to be looking at 6.2. 6.2. Let's click on the marker board. So we got 8/10 over 11 twelfths, right? 8/10 over 11. Did I say twelfths? 11 over 2. I don't know what I said. Anyway, so we can actually rewrite this as 8/10, and we want to flip this guy right here, okay, to 2 over 11. And then, of course, the next order of business would be to reduce this thing down as much as we can. And let's see, 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 10 5 times, right? Okay. And it doesn't look like we can do anything else to this. So we got 8 times 1 is 8. 5 times 11 is 55. So it looks like we have 8 over 55. Let's just click on the answer over here. 8 over 55, and that's what the script is telling us, so I'm sure that's probably what it is. Alright, so come on by GoToMath.com. We got a lot of problems to practice on, and I'll see you later. Okay, we're over here at GoToMath.com. We're freshening up on some fractions. I believe we're down here at 7.1. And let's click on the marker board there. Add like fractions and reduce to lowest terms. Like fractions. So they're like fractions because, well, they believe because they have the same denominator. For some reason, I think I forgot the definition of like fractions. But they have the same denominator, and that makes things a whole lot easier. All right. So we use brown this time. What do you think? 10 over 13 plus 4 over 13. Okay. So since we have the denominators, we have two fractions that have the same denominator. That makes things a little easier because all we have to do is rewrite that denominator and add the numerators. So this would be 10 plus 4, which actually, we'll write that as 14 over 13. And this doesn't reduce down. So remember, we want to make sure that we reduce our fraction all the way down, okay? And what do you say we just type this into the box up here? And see how that works out. Correct. All right. So there you go. Remember, we just add the numerators if the denominators are the same. So we're over here at gotomath.com. You want to come on by and practice, and I'll see you later. So we're over here at gotomath.com. Let's click on the algebra, go down to fractions, and I believe we're looking at 7.2. You can always click on the buttons up here if you want to do that instead. Alright. Subtract like fractions, reduce to lowest terms. Okay. So we've got 9 over 8. Let's go ahead and write that down. What do we want to use this time? Green? Why not? 9 over 8 minus 20 over 8. So since we have the denominators are both the same, okay, we just go ahead and rewrite that, and then we do the addition or subtraction, in this case subtraction, 9 minus 20 up here in the numerator. Right, so let's see, 9 minus 20 is what, 11? Negative 11? Is that right? Over 8, and we have to ask the question, does this reduce down any? And the answer to that is no. So we end up with negative 11 eighths. Negative 11 eighths. Right. Come over here. You can type it in the box if you want. And that's what script shows. So there you go. All right. So come on by gotomath.com, and I shall see you there maybe. All right. Okay, so we're over here at gotomath.com, if you hadn't noticed. We're working on fractions. Did you see that in the algebra section? Let's see, 7.2, 8.1. Looks like that's what's going on. Let's click on the marker board so we can write this thing up. Now, we notice in this fraction, right, or this sum of these two fractions, that the denominators are not equal like in the previous problem, so we got to do a little something extra. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Any preferable color? Gold? I don't really like gold. That gold? Green, blue. Let's just do blue. So we have 6 over 2 plus 18 over 19. All right. We need to get a common denominator. And so what we're going to end up having to do here is it's not going to be pretty, I'll tell you that right now. Now this fraction right here actually reduces down, and you could reduce this down actually if you wanted. And you know what, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's reduce this fraction down. Okay, so 6 over 2 can actually be rewritten as 3, because 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So this can actually be written as 3 plus 18 over 19. And we have to ask that question, will this reduce down any? And the answer to that is obviously no. Alright, so this is kind of like 3 over 1 right here. You can consider it. Alright, 3 over 1. And, well, I think this makes it a little bit nicer, believe it or not. So what we're going to need to do here is we want to get these denominators to be the same, and the best thing to do is we use a different color here, is to write 19 over 19 times, okay, times, we'll go back to blue, 3 over 1. Okay, that takes care of this part plus, and then we have 18 over 19. So this is where students really have the most difficulty with, and that is when their denominators are different when it comes to fractions and adding and subtracting, okay? But let me tell you, it's actually really simple, because all we need to do here is write 19 over 19. Now 19 over 19 is just 1. This is just 1 right here. And 1 times 3 over 1 is just 3 over 1. So really we hadn't done anything. We just moved some stuff in, but it's really not there. I don't know, does that make sense? But anyway, now what we've got here is we've got 19 times 1, which is actually going to be 19, and then 19 times 3. 19 times 3, which is 57. Did I get that right? 19 times 3. I'm going to go up here to the green box. I know it's terrible, isn't it? Yeah, it's 57. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to make any silly mistakes. So that's going to be 57, and then plus we have 18 over 19, and so now we just add the numerators, 57 plus 18 over 19. Don't worry about what's going on over here, okay? That's some top secret stuff. Anyway, so we have 57 plus 18 over 19. And let's see, 50, 60, 75. Hope I got that right. 75 over 19. 75 over 19 is what I'm getting anyway. And of course, as you can see there, I cheated. Where are we at? What did I say? 75 over 19. I don't know. Let's check it out. Hold our breath here. 75 over 19. Yeah. Correct. Ooh. Anyway, we're over here at GoToMath.com. You can come on by, practice, and I'll see you later. Okay, so we're at GoToMath.com. That's where we are. Let's click on the algebra. Let's go down to fractions. And 8.2. 8.2 is where we are. Let's click on the marker board so we got something to write on. Subtract, reduce lowest terms. Okay. We got that. Anybody want green again? Let's do that. I don't know. Anyway, I had to make up my own marker board, write up some script for it, because these were just the things, this is all I needed. You know, of course, I tend to add some other stuff, but talk about that later on in the story. Plus, I needed something to write right here so I can see the problem, type in the problem. Anyway, where are we at? We are, got off on a tangent. Got off on a tangent. If you study some calculus, you'll know where that comes from, by the way. We need to get a common denominator, okay? And, you know, they go into this great big huge long explanation on how to get a common denominator in some books and stuff, and I'm just like, let's not try to make this any difficult than what it actually is, any more difficult, you know. Anyway, common denominator, what we're going to need to do here is, let's use a different color. It looks like the only thing we're going to be able to do here is multiply this side by 4 over 4 and this side by 5 over 5. So let's just do that. So 4 over 4. We're choosing 4 over 4 because there's a 4 down here. Alright. And I almost forgot what color I was using. 7 over 5 minus 16 over 4. And you know what? I just now seen something. This can actually be reduced. You know something? We are going to reduce that before we do anything else. Whoa, definitely didn't want to do that. And let's erase that again. Forgot I need to click on draw again. So let's do 7/5 minus 4 goes into 16 4 times. Yep, that's it. But we're going to actually rewrite this as 7/5 minus 4 over 1. So we want to make sure we reduce our fractions down before we actually do anything else. Okay. We can now rewrite this as 7/5 minus 4 over 1. But guess what we're going to write over here? And we're going to write a 5 over 5, okay? Because 5 times 1 is 5. So now we have a common denominator. And I guess we'll just continue right over here, okay? And so we end up with 7/5 minus, whoops, 5 times 4 is 20. I almost, one mistake after the next here. 5 times 4 is 20, so you want to make sure you do that, over 5. And if you reduce that down, you should get 4 over 1, okay? But the idea here is to get a common denominator. So we have 7 minus 20, and what is that going to be, 10, 13? Negative 13, is that right? Over 5. Does this reduce down any? That's the question, and don't believe so, okay? Negative 13 over 5, there you go. Alright, so we're over here at gotomath.com. You want to come on by, check that out, and I'll see you later. Okay, so we're here at gotomath.com, trying to do something. We are doing fractions, actually. And let's go down to, where are we, 9.1? I think maybe. We are at 9.1. Let's click on the marker board. Add the fractions, reduce to lowest terms. Well, we're adding these two and subtracting this one, but you get the idea, right? Anyway, we got this nice nasty thing here. Now, order of operations. Question is, does it matter? Could we subtract these two and then add this one? It shouldn't matter, right? We're just going to do this from left to right, where we add these together and then subtract off this one. Why not? But you know what? First thing we need to do is simplify this thing down as much as we can. So we got 5/3 plus, now 2/4, that'll reduce down to 1/2, right? 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 2 times, minus, let's reduce this guy down, 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So that's been pretty much reduced all the way down. You can also look at it this way. We need to get a common denominator all the way across. And we could actually do that. And this is actually not going to be nice. You know what? Let's just add these guys together and get one single fraction and then subtract off the 4/5. How's that? Let's just, do you want to do that? I don't know. We can do that. 5/3 plus 1/2. And so what we're going to need to do here is multiply this side by 2 over 2, okay, and times 5/3 plus 1/2 times, now what do you think we should put over here? Well, because it's a 3 right here, we're going to put 3 over 3, okay? And so now what we've got is 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 3 is 6. What do we have? Well, we have common denominator. Isn't that nice? So 10 plus 3 is 13 over 6, right? And of course that can't reduce down any. So now where we're at is we, little line divider here, 13 over 6 minus 4/5. Minus 4/5. So like I said, you could have done this all in one fall swoop, but I'll do a piece at a time here. What do we got going on here? We're going to have to multiply this side by 5 over 5. And then this side here will have to be multiplied by 6 over 6, because we have a 6 down here, okay? And now what we're doing is 5 times 13, which is 65. Let's see, 50, 15, yeah, that's 65, right? 65 over 30 minus 24 over 30. Okay. Alright, so I'm getting 41 over 30. 41 over 30. And we're going to check out, see what the answer shows. 41 over 30. Glad that was correct. Anyway, so 41 over 30, we should be able to just type that in the box here. 41 over 30. Let's see, we're just checking this, make sure all that's good, correct. Alright. So, come on by, go to math.com. Lots to practice from. See you later. Alright, so we're over here, go to math.com. Take 2 on this video. Didn't have my recorder turned on. Microphone. Gotta love that. What are we doing anyway? 9.2. It's irritating. Irritating to say the least. So hopefully everything's being recorded now. What are we supposed to be doing here? Reduce to the lowest terms. Alright. Let's okay, so we're looking at this right here. We got 6 over 2 times 5/7 plus 8 over 3. 8 over 3. Now, a couple ways you can do this. You can take this 6 over 2, multiply it across. That's the distributive property, right? First thing I see, though, is we can actually reduce 6 over 2 down. And we can actually rewrite that as 3 times 5/7 plus 8/3. So I intentionally do that. Okay. That's intentional. Now we can multiply this 3 across, or we could actually go ahead and add these inside, get that fraction, then multiply by 3, and I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. So let's just continue this part up here. Let's do that. So we're going to need to get a common denominator, as you can see here. So we have 5 over 7 plus 8 over 3, and we'll write the common denominator in. What are we going to get? Well, we're going to have to multiply this side by 3 over 3, right? And then this side will have to be multiplied by 7 over 7. Okay. Now we can get a common denominator, and it's not 37. That's 3 times 7, by the way. So we have 3 times 5 is 15. Over 3 times 7 is 21 plus, and that's going to be what, 56 over 21. So now what we can do is just go ahead, add the numerators. So we have 15 plus 56 over 21. Now remember, we're just dealing with this piece right here, okay? Alright, so we have 5, 6, 7, what is that, 11, 71, yeah, that's right, 21. Of course, can this be reduced down? Don't think so. So now where we're at is bringing this down again, so we have 3 times 71 over 21. Is that right? Yeah. Now this can be reduced down because 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 21 7 times. And so we end up with now 71 over 7. 71 over 7. Okay, let's click on the answer here. Hold our breath. Looks like we don't have to hold it too long. So we're getting 71 over 7. Looks good. Let's just go ahead and type that in right here. Make sure this works out well. 71 over 7, correct. Alright. So you know where to find us. We're over here at GoToMath.com. We got all kinds of problems for you to practice on, and I shall see you later. Okay, so we're over here at GoToMath.com. Let's click on the algebra, go down to fractions. We're kind of doing a little refresher course on this, or maybe you're learning it for the first time. And I believe we're looking at 10.1. So let's take a look at that. And what is that? Now, I'll tell you what it's not real quick. It's not this. We did some of this earlier, okay, which this is a multiplication problem, 5 times 2/9. So it's not that. What this is a mixed number. Can I just write that up here? This is a mixed number, they call. And we're going to rewrite this as more likely an improper fraction. There's actually some terminology I've kind of left out as we've been going along. And that is the, how do we talk about fractions? Well, things have names. And this is a mixed number. And we'll go ahead and use a different color here. So 5 2/9 is, if we want to get this into a fraction, and it'll probably be an improper fraction, and we'll talk about what that is here in just a second. But what this actually is, you can rewrite this as, this is 5 plus 2/9 if we want to get this as an improper fraction. 5 2/9. To get this as a fraction, though, we're going to write this as 5 plus and then 2/9. Okay, which means that we're going to need to get a common denominator, and that's pretty easy because we're going to write 9/9 here times, right, and this 5 here can actually be written as 5/1. Okay, 5/1 plus and then the 2/9 that we have here. Alright, so we always got to get a common denominator. So now we have 5 times, or 9 times 5 is 45 over 9 plus 2/9. Okay, we have a common denominator. That was the idea. We want to add the numerators. And of course, this is pretty easy. This is 45, 46, 47 over 9. Now, an improper fraction is one where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay, so this would be an improper fraction. A proper fraction is when the denominator is greater than the numerator. Now, this is something I should have talked about earlier but never did. Okay, proper, denominator is greater than the numerator. Improper, and this is an improper fraction, as you can see. All right, we went from mixed number to improper fraction. Okay, we're going to throw that in there. Anyway, 47 over 9, and hopefully that's it, and it is. You can always put that in here if you want to do that. Click on this box to check it. Remember, that's the calculator, and boy, I've added all kinds of stuff as a calculator just recently. You can always go up to the help, which it's up in the right hand corner of the page, and click on all the different functions I've added to that. Intersections, unions, taking the complements of sets, all kinds of cool stuff. Anyway, so we're over here at GoToMath.com. You can come on by, practice your fractions if you want, or calculus. That's something we've been actually working on. But we're going to be adding to the algebra section now that we're catching up on calculus. All right, see you there. Bye. All right, we're over here at GoToMath.com, kind of refreshing up on some fractions for the most part. But you might actually be learning this stuff for the first time. Who knows? Or maybe you just think you're learning it for the first time and have learned it and forgot it. That's a possibility too. What are we doing? We got two mixed fractions, two mixed numbers. However you want to call it. Anyway, so we have 5 8/7 plus 9 8/9. And let's just write this out. I guess we'll use black. And of course, I got to tell you, this is not 5 times 8/7, okay? Kind of looks like something we did earlier. Whoa, look what I did. Let me consume that. That's 9 8/9. Yeah. And so we can't just cancel these two 9s out, right? That was the reason in a previous section I put a dot right here indicating it's 5 times 8/7. All right. This type of notation is kind of used more in construction and not really in the scientific field. Usually we just write this as either a percentage, a decimal, or something like that, but a lot of this is kind of written in other places, and usually construction I can think of when we're measuring, or maybe measuring ingredients or something. But anyway, a lot of people use this kind of stuff here, and so that's the reason I added it to it. Alright, so where we're at, where are we at? We're going to expand all this stuff out. So we got 5 plus 8/7 plus, because we want to get this all into one single fraction. More likely it'll be an improper fraction. Now remember what that definition was, that the numerator is greater than the denominator if it's an improper fraction. Okay. Now what we could do is we could go ahead and just add these two guys here together. Alright, we can add these guys together, so that ends up with 14 plus 8/7 plus 8/9, right? We can add these two fractions together and then add to the 14, or we could take the 14 and add it to that. I don't care what you do. I'm just going to go ahead and add these together here first. Okay, we'll add these together first. Let's just do that. And so what we're going to need to do here is get a common denominator, and it looks like well, it looks like we're going to be writing 9/9 here next to that guy, plus, and then we have 8/9. Right, and what do you think we're going to write next to this one here? Well, because there's a 7 here, we're going to write 7/7. Okay. Alright, so now what we've got going on here is we've got 9 times 8, which is 72, over 9 times 7 is 63, plus 8 times 7 is 56, over 63, and of course we have a common denominator. That was the whole idea, right? And so we have 72 plus 56. 72 plus 56, does anybody know? Top of your head there. I don't really want to think too much today. 128. 72 plus 56 is 128. Alright, so there's an improper fraction. Anyway, so we have 128 over 63, and where were we at over here? 14. Right, 14. And so now what we've got going on here is we've got 14 plus 128 over 63, and of course remember this is written with a 1 right here, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to get a common denominator, and that means 63 over 63 will be written next to 14 over 1 plus 128 over 63, and so now we have a common denominator. And what do we got going on? We got 63 times 14. Does anybody know what that is? 63 times 14, 882. So we have 882 over 63 plus, of course we're not doing anything to that. And we got some big nasty number here. So now we just add the numerators, 882 plus 128, and you get 10, 10, 10. Okay, somehow I wrote too many zeros. We're going to have to do some erasing here. It looks like nice little erase function there. Let's go back to draw, click on that. I don't know why I wrote that. 1010 over 63. Alright. And of course that shouldn't reduce down any. Okay. Click Click on the answer there. 110 over 63. Looks good. I think I'm going to go ahead and plug that in up here too. Make sure all that is working out. We don't need any problems. There's a chance to check everything. Alright, so we're over here at GoToMath.com. You come on by, practice. See you later.